So, just a little over a week ago, I ran the Equine Business Bootcamp. And what I did was I set up a pop-up group, so it was a bit like a challenge. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about some lessons that I learned from running that bootcamp and how you could perhaps use Facebook groups and challenges and pop-up groups to support your equine business. So are you ready? Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Equine Business Assistant Podcast, helping you build a better business to live life on your terms. With your host, Jenny Bush.
So welcome to the Stable Business Podcast. I'm Jenny Bush, online business consultant and coach, helping you to up the pace and build a successful yet stable, balanced business. Now, before I jump into this episode, I want to let you know a little bit about the Stable Foundations Hub, because if you feel that you need to get some stable foundations to help you grow your business and to get some back-end horsepower in your business that will help you to reclaim your time, build a wildly successful business without it becoming a wild horse that controls you, this mini membership is a great place to start, and it costs less than a bale of shavings at just £7 a month. So if you'd like to know more about that, head to stablefoundations.com. I'll leave the description in the show notes. But now let's get on with the show. So today I want to talk a little bit about the Equine Business Bootcamp, what I did, what worked, what didn't work, my takeaways. And if you are thinking about running a challenge, or you're thinking about perhaps doing some sort of boot camp for your equine business, some tips and tricks that might help you to make sure that you don't burn out through it. So I was really excited to run the boot camp. It was an absolutely amazing experience. It ran over 5 days. And yeah, that was, if you're listening after February, so I ran it at the beginning of February 2022. And what I did was I was very transparent that it was to launch the Stable Foundations Hub Plus, which is my closed membership, which is access to the Stable Foundations Hub, but also to get some more one-to-one support, not one-to-one, more group support with me, so that you can grow your business. And I was very honest from upfront that that was what I was doing. But what I wanted to do through this bootcamp is I just wanted to help some business owners to get some stable foundations in place. Because what I find so often is we're really good at just jumping in and getting the work done and getting into the business side of of what we want to do. But then we forget to do some of those fundamental foundational pieces, and it's often the inside stuff that we need to do in order to make sure that our businesses really do serve us in a way where it's got confirmation. I often talk about the confirmation of your business, which is technically your business model, and how we set up a business that actually aligns with what we want for our lives. So I covered planning, I covered boundaries, setting your boundaries, and I covered vetting your business, which is all about going and doing the market research, because those are three things that I find with all the business owners I work with, they haven't really done, or if they've done it, they haven't gone deep enough. And so we covered those things. So I did some training on those three things. I gave a whole load of tools and workbooks and techniques and skills. And normally when I run a challenge, what I've done in the past is I've done sort of 3 to 5 day challenges, and then I've gone live every day and done the training live. And this time I decided to put the training already in the group. So as soon as I opened the doors on the Friday, the training was already there, so people could jump in and they could work at their own pace. They could be self-paced. And then on the first 3 days I did a live where I just came in and I talked about anything that people had said during the day or anything that came up. And what I discovered from this, what I found really difficult, was the first few days felt like I was trying to pull teeth. Sometimes in Facebook groups, and I'm sure you've had this even on your social media platforms, you put a lot of work in and people just weren't really responding for the first few days. By the Sunday, it was amazing. We finally got there. But for the first few days, there was a lot of anxiety in my end, thinking, oh my gosh, how are people doing? And normally when I've done the challenges in the past, so I've done the training live, so some people have shown up with me live, so I've been able to kind of support them as we go, whereas this way around was a bit different. However, what did work really, really well is people loved the content. They loved what I gave them. I did see some massive changes, and it did also convert to, I think I got about 7.5% decided to join the Stable Foundations Hub, which was an amazing conversion. Most of you know conversion rates tend to be somewhere around 2 to 5%. So I was really, really pleased with 7.5%. What would I do differently if I was to do it again, though? That was a really key question for me. And I think if I was to do it again, what I would possibly do is spend a little bit more time getting it ready. Now, what I do plan to do is I plan to rerun it again, probably around September. So if you're on my email list and you missed it, stay on there and you will be the first to know when I'm ready to launch it again. I would possibly start building the buzz a bit sooner. It was as part of a program that I was doing, and I'd got the momentum going in what I was working on, which meant that I just wanted to take action and get it moving forward. And because I just created the Stable Foundations Hub, again, I wanted to get it out there as quickly as possible. So given a bit more time, I would have probably worked on nurturing my audience a little bit better in the run-ups, probably for about 4 weeks beforehand. Whereas this launch, I probably only did 2 weeks of nurture, if that. So I would probably spend a bit more time on that. I would also be looking at getting my outreach a bit better. So I didn't go anywhere to tell anybody about what I was doing other than my own groups. So I would probably be looking at maybe doing a bit more PR for myself and just getting in front of some other audiences, telling more people what I was doing, and again building a bit more of a buzz. It was kind of a last minute competition idea that I did in the Equestrian Business Support Network, where I said to people, right, this is what I'm doing. I really want to get it out to as many business owners as possible. So could you share it? And I did get quite a few members sharing it, but again, not as many as I would like, because I don't think I utilized email enough on that. I think I could have engaged my audience, and I think I could have possibly built that up a bit better. Also, with the emails, I must admit, I struggled to do the emails every day through the challenge, because I was worried about people jumping ship. Excuse me. And getting off my email list. And I had some anxieties around that. And I think it's like, I often talk about email. You know, I'm a big advocate for email. I'm a big one for telling people to email. But I found my coach was pushing me to do 2 emails a day, and I did only do 1. I did get some unsubscribes. I probably had more unsubscribes this month than other months. However, in saying that, I also built my email list more than I've done over the last few months. So the percentage still stayed about the same for unsubscribes. And I have to keep reminding myself, and this is really important, like for you, if you're using email, is that actually you want those unsubscribes. If people aren't prepared to book and buy from you, they're not your people. And if they get upset because you're actually offering them some value, and there was a heck of a lot of value over those 5 days, it was insane the amount of value that I gave in there. And a lot of people like the feedback and the testimonials. And if you want to see some of that, if you go to my Instagram at Equine Business Assistant, there's actually a highlight cover where I saved things that were relating to the bootcamp. So you can go on there and you can have a look at some of the things that people were saying, some of the things that people were sharing, and see how sort of the buzz went in general. So like, as I'm looking at it right now, as we're going through, so I got comments like let's find it, and you can see how it looked a little bit, and when I opened the doors, and so I got the bonus guides are incredible. My printer's going to be busy. Thank you for your help and insight. You're an inspiration. Had some big insights. Brilliant workbooks, Jenny. There's certainly a lot to think about. You're so inspiring. I have felt overwhelmed about talking about my business further, but you have given me confidence to do that. And so that was just, so good to me. So I knew through that period, I was giving amazing value, and the people who genuinely care and are committed to doing the work and building their business, they enjoyed it too. So yeah, those people that didn't want to see what I was doing, that didn't want to take advantage of like masses of opportunity to have free coaching from me over a space of 3 days, missed out. And so if they unsubscribe, I needed to get my head around that a little bit. So what would I do differently if I would when I do it again? Is a sort of a key thing for me, and say I would definitely look at just planning it out a bit better, get myself in the right headspace. I felt that the balance was quite right for the people who took it. I didn't feel that there was too much in there. I gave a lot of extra bonuses, but they were things that supported what they were doing rather than more stuff to do. So I did give them access to my walk the course meditation. I did give like a little toolkit which had some affirmations and things that they could be using on a day-to-day basis, and some journals and things like that. So it wasn't like more work. And I think it's really important. And I think if you're looking to run a challenge or something like that in your business to grow your business, because I have a lot of people ask me about should they do Facebook groups, and I've got lots of Facebook groups that I run. So I've got like the Equestrian Business Support Network, that's my free one. Then I've got paid groups for my Nail It Mastermind, paid groups for Stable Foundations Plus is a paid group. Stable Foundations, that's a paid group. Everybody has to be a paid client to be in those groups. And then of course I did this pop-up group. And I think that doing it in a pop-up group worked really well. I've still had lots of people ask me if they can access it, and the answer is no. It was set between those 5 times. The only thing that you can do, if you wanted to have a look at what I shared through that, is you can sign up for my free planner, which I'll leave the link in the description, so you can get the planner that we used throughout the bootcamp. And also I'll share a couple of the videos that I made for bootcamp that go with the planner, so you can use that. But also everything that I did is now gone into the Stable Foundations Hub, so you could access the Stable Foundations Hub to get it. But I think if you're looking to run a challenge, if you're looking to run some sort of free group as a way of growing your business, they're great ideas. But what you need to be doing is making sure that you promote it in the run up, so you've got everything ready. I would say actually for me, having the content pre-recorded really helped my energy. As most of you know, I really struggle with energy. I've had chronic fatigue a lot of time, and I did actually crash on the Monday. I did have a proper crash where I just had to go and chill out. And I think knowing that the content was there, and because I pre-recorded it, I was able to give it a better level than if I was doing it live and I had issues around my health over the weekend, or something came up. Knowing that I just had to pop in and just be myself and answer the questions and support people at that level was much kinder to me. I would say if you're going to do it, make sure that you really map out what you want to do. And sometimes we can be tempted to give too much. And like there was a lot in there, but really think about having just a few key things, and then you can give extra value with things that support what you are teaching rather than more work. So that paid off really, really well. But they do take a lot of energy. And this is the first time I've also ran something over the weekend. And I think with equestrian businesses, and equestrians in particular, it's really hard to get the timing right, because if we do it during the week, everybody's busy, they're working, but also a lot of equestrians work at the weekend. So I don't think that there's ever a specifically good time for people. But in doing the way that I did it with the pop-up group recently, I did feel that it allowed people that opportunity to just know that if they could do it all on the Friday, they could do it all on the Friday. If they couldn't get until Monday or Tuesday, that everything was still there and they wouldn't miss out. So I gave them that 5-day window, and I think that really helped. Whereas when I did a Build Your Herd challenge a couple of years ago, and every day I had the content mapped out, and I came live early in the morning, so people had all day, and then I'd go live again in the evening to answer questions. And that was nice for me in a way that I got the feedback, but also I know a lot of people gave up really quickly because they had to show up every single day. And I don't think as people, like, we are able to be that consistent all the time. So like with the the pop-up group that I just did, they knew that they just had to show up at 7:00 and it would just be a Q&A, and they wouldn't have to take anything in. So it didn't matter where they were at, or if they didn't feel like they were left behind, if that makes sense. Because I think sometimes there's that, if you miss a day and everything's being delivered day after day after day, there's that feeling of I have been left behind. Whereas I was very much like, right, where are you at? What do you need help with? What are you struggling with? And I didn't mind going over any of the 3 main topics that I was talking about. So I hope that was useful. I'm really looking forward to running it again. So make sure you're on my email list to find out when I next run an Equine Business Bootcamp. And it's really useful, even if you've already done one. I think the things that we cover are things that you need to repeat. And it's the same with everything. We learn through repetition, but also in our businesses, that's how we grow, is we repeat. And when we're doing things like we're looking at making sure that our plans are still aligned, our business plans are actually aligned with our life plans and they do fit, and we've got that confirmation right, we can never do that too much. The same with looking at our boundaries and making sure that we're holding our boundaries and we're staying true to our vision and we're staying true to our mission and we're staying true to our values. I don't think we can ever look at that enough. It's like repairing your fences. You need to check your fences every single day. Yeah, if you've got your horses, you need to check your fences every single day. Otherwise, things happen and we know that the line's been crossed and then we end up losing our shit, I guess. So yeah, we're looking at boundaries. I think that's something we can repeat over and over again. So even if you were in the last boot camp, getting into the next one will really help you to deepen the work they've already done. And the same with the research and going and doing the vetting and looking at where your ideal clients are. You can never do that enough. So many times people say to me, oh, but I know who my ideal client is. And yeah, they know at a surface level, but maybe they've moved on, maybe they've grown, maybe they've changed. Because I know that I do. I know that I've grown, even in the last few years while I've run this business. I've grown, and some of you have been on the journey with me through this business, and I'm sure that you'll have seen I am very different to as I was in 2018 when I started. I have grown, and you have been on that mission with me. But that also means that I'm in a different space, and so your clients might be in a different place, and you might be in a different place, and what you offer might change. So I don't think you can ever do that work enough. So getting in the boot camp means that you can revisit that and you can go deeper every single time, and you can get firmer on those foundations. So if you'd like to know more about the Stable Foundations Hub, do head to stablefoundationshub.com. I will put the link in the show notes. And of course, if you've got any questions, I would love to hear them, because it might become some of my content for either for this podcast or my YouTube channel, as I'm looking to create a few more videos as well this year. So I'd love your questions, because they help me to create content that I know really helps you. And of course, if this helped you, be sure to subscribe and leave a review and let me know what you think. Share on your Instagram stories and tag me at Equine Business Assistant so I can see, because I always love to see that. And just know that people are listening. Like I recently just said hello to a new follower on Instagram, and she just said that she loved my podcast and that it was nice to know I think she said she was an avid listener, which just made my day. So make my day. Go and share on Instagram stories, tag me, let me know that you're listening. And if you're not part of my free community for horse business owners, I would really love to invite you to join the Equestrian Business Support Network, which is my free Facebook group. And if you haven't already grabbed the Equine Business Planner, I will put the link again in the notes below. But if you also join the Equestrian Business Support Network on Facebook, I will ask you there if you want it. So don't worry if you haven't got that, just go and find the group on Facebook. But I hope this has inspired you. I hope if you were in the boot camp, you enjoyed it. I would still love to hear what your thoughts are and see if there's been any changes, because sometimes I know that these things percolate, and then a few months down the line we go, oh, that's based on what the work I did during that boot camp. So I would love to hear. I would love to hear if you've had any success from what I taught in the boot camp. And I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. So for now, I look forward to being in your earbuds very soon. But thanks for listening, and I'll see you later. Take care.